Listen, get used to seeing that next season. Welcome back, Artieros. Welcome back to the channel. And it's been a week since I made any content. I was back in Miami. I was enjoying the sunlight and the food, and getting ready for what's going to be, hopefully, a very exciting Arsenal season. This video, I want to talk about, the name that's on everybody's lips, the guy who's on everyone's mind, and that's our new striker, Viktors Gyokeres. Now, I called this video, Will He Flop? And I think that he is very polarizing when it comes to Arsenal fans and our rivals. So, our rivals are just throwing out points. Oh, he's not going to do this. It was the Portuguese league. And our fans are kind of like gassing him. And I think where he's going to finish is going to be somewhere in the middle. But I wanted to kind of speak on this video about kind of the pros of Gyokeres and then some of what the doubters have been saying and what I think is going to happen to him. I think he's going to bang. I think he's the best striker we've had, at least signing since Aubameyang. I mean, he's the first striker we've had since Aubameyang. Kai Havertz isn't really a striker. Marino's not really a striker. Jesus really isn't a striker. It's the first out-and-out striker we've had since Aubameyang. And I'm excited because the last time we had an out-and-out striker, we won the FA Cup. So, yeah, let's kind of speak about Victor. So we did sign him from Portugal. Sporting relented in the end. I think it was about 62.7 million, which is a steal. They were quoting, 100 million for Isak. They're quoting 95 million for Sesko. To get this guy for 60 million, crazy business. That's really good business on Berta. So I'm excited about that. And I mean, the guy's already selling shirts. He took the 14, which is last striker we had 14, Aubameyang, won the FA Cup. He took the 14 and the site crashed. The site crashed because so many people wanted that kid. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's great that we're finally getting a player that a lot of fans are excited about. It's not the sensible signing, it's the exciting signing. We've seen a lot of sensible signing. Mascara, sensible signing. Nogard, sensible signing. Madueke, whether it's hit or miss, in Arteta's mind, it's a sensible signing. We wanted the guy who's going to make you go to the Armory and buy his shirt. And that's what he's done. I mean, Gyokeres rushing to the Armory. I'm thinking about doing it. I haven't bought a player since a couple years ago, Martin Odegaard, and Declan Rice when I went into the Armory. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm gassed. And I might just, hop down to the Armory and kind of get his shirt as well. But let's talk about Gyokeres, and let's talk about what people are kind of saying about him. So, our rivals, the biggest kind of con to Gyokeres is, he did it in the Portuguese league. He scored 30 goals in the Portuguese league. He's not going to do it here. So let's go back and check his stats, all right? So he played 2 seasons for Sporting. Now, last season, he scored 39 goals, 7 assists. I mean, that's outrageous. Season before, 29 goals, 10 assists. So you're talking 39, 40 goal involvements, and they played 33 matches. All right? But it's Portugal. So let's see what he did in the Champions League. He also played against us. He looked lively. I remember seeing him. I mean, we have kind of the best defense in the league. And so he didn't get too much daylight, but he looked like if he wasn't playing us, he could get something off. In the Champions League last season, 6 goals, 1 assist. 7 goal contributions in 8 games. I mean, I take that. Do we have anybody on our team? Did we have any player on our team this season to score 10 goals? The answer is no. And that's the first time in ages. No Arsenal players hit double digits. But, that's Portugal. So let's go back the 3 years before that when he played for Coventry. Now, Coventry were in the Championship. And a lot of people will say, the Premier League harder than the Championship. The Championship, you play more matches. And I think that as far as competition and the level that you're playing, I feel like the Championship is a lot closer than the Premier League. When you look at the Premier League, the teams that, let's say Southampton, right? Southampton came up. Then City playing Southampton. Yeah, Southampton could win. But, you could probably rest a couple people. You don't have to go full throttle. They might get the win, but it's unlikely, right? Whereas the championship, you've got teams that are coming in from the Prem. You've got teams like Wrexham who are coming up from League One. And the championship has so many teams that have been to the Prem. You've got your Hull Cities, you got your Swanseas. Last season you had Sunderland. You've got Leeds, you've got Burnley, you've got Norwich. You've got so many teams that have played at that high level, and they're coming down to the championship. They're getting the blanket payments to get, better players to kind of go back up. So I think it's not as far as an overall hard league. I think it has harder spaces. You're playing more matches. You're playing competition that is kind of closer to you, and they're going to play for everything. I think it's tough. So I wouldn't discount the championship. I think it's a very tough division. So for you to kind of score goals and a lot of goals in the championship, I think it's still no mean feat. I mean, look at Jamie Vardy. He brought Leicester up from the championship, then ended up winning the league. Let's not just scoff at the championship like we don't get players from the championship who end up banging. So looking back at his last 3 seasons of the championship, so 22-23, he scored 21 goals, 12 assists. I mean, what is that? 33 and 49? 33 goal contributions. And 49. The season before that, 17 goals, 5 assists. And then the season before that, he only played 19 matches, but he got 3 goals, no assists. Right? So you can see in the past 5 years, so from 22 to now, his goals have gone up. And you can say that it's the Portuguese league, but guess what? If you're in front of goal, it doesn't matter whether it's, the Portuguese keeper, the championship keeper, you still have to score the ball. And that's what he's doing. Now, if the defenders are kind of trash, then fine, but you still have to be there. I mean, how many times did we see Eddie Nketiah get in a good position to not score the ball? And to kind of, caveat that, I think that a lot of people will say, oh, it's the Portuguese league. How many good players have come from Portugal? They compare him to Darwin Núñez, right? So let's look at Darwin Núñez stats, right? Let's look at Darwin Núñez. So Darwin Núñez with Benfica, right? 26 goals, 4 assists. And the season before, 6 goals, 9 assists, right? And that was around the same time that Gyokeres was kind of at Coventry. Let's see, Liverpool, 5 goals, 2 assists, 11 goals, 8 assists, 9 goals, 3 assists. In the Champions League, he hasn't done much. So everyone's talking, I mean, he had 1 good season at Benfica. 1 good season at Benfica. We're talking about, Gyokeres having 2 good seasons at Sporting and then 2 good seasons at Coventry. It's not like he just had 1 good season and we're signing him. He's had 4 solid seasons. He's had a solid Champions League campaign. And let's not act like players haven't come from Sporting who've been great. Cristiano Ronaldo, we've had so many good Sporting. Now, Benfica, I would probably take Sporting over Benfica players because we've had a couple Benfica players who haven't really panned out. When you look at your João Felixes and your Darwin Núñez, I'd probably go with Sporting. Maybe it's just how their setup is or whatnot, but usually, when players come from Sporting, they do pretty solidly in the Premier League. And I think that Viktor Gyokeres will get 35 goals? No, I don't. I don't think he'll get 35 goals. But if he gets 20, if he gets 17, that's better than what we had. I mean, how many did Kai Havertz score? No one scored over 10, guys. So I would take that. I would honestly take him scoring 17, 18 goals, especially if it's against those low block teams. And I think that's where we need goals. We need someone, it's very easy. You look at what we've had in the past, when you have Kai Havertz scoring. Kai Havertz is scoring when we're already 2 goals up. He's scoring against teams that we're having a good time against. But how many goals did Kai Havertz score against the Big Six? How many goals did he score against the low block teams? I think that's the difference. I think it's very easy. Even Mikel Merino, he's had some good goals. But if I'm down 2-1, I've gone down 2-1 to Burnley, or have gone down 2-1 to Newcastle, for example, right? We know that they're gonna park the bus. They're gonna stop us from, having those lines through them. Like, do I trust Victor Gyokeres versus Kai Havertz? Yeah, I trust Victor Gyokeres because he's an out-and-out striker. He's going to know what spaces he can exploit and what spaces he can't, and he's also going to take that shot when he needs to. I mean, there's a video circulating. I know it's just practice, but him taking one touch and then ripping it into the goal. Like, we haven't had that since Aubameyang. That's what Aubameyang did in the FA Cup semifinals, in the final. Like, he took the ball and he made something happen. Kai Havertz is not that player. Kai Havertz will, he'll get a header or he'll get the ball into him. Mikel Merino might lick a shot from outside the box, but I want someone who strikes fear into center backs, and that's what I think Victor Gyokeres will give me. So do I think he will be a flop? I do not. Do I think that he's going to be Erling Haaland and come in here and score 40 goals? No, I'm being realistic. I think he may score anywhere from 17 to 23. I think anywhere from 17 to 23 is going to be his goal tally. As far as assists, I think 5 to 7 in his first season. Because I don't think that we should put these lofty expectations. Yes, he's a striker signings, but he's not going to come in here and become Thierry Henry in one season. Now, the season after, would I expect him to get over 20? If he has a good season, probably yeah. But in this first season, with how we play, I expect 15 to 22. 17 to 23, in that range. That's what I expect him to get this year. And I think he'll be good. I think he'll be a good signing. And I'm just refreshed that we finally have a striker signing. I'm refreshed that we finally have someone who could be the focal point of our attack. Another thing that kind of Arsenal fans are speaking about as far as Gyokeres coming in is Martin Odegaard. So last season, Martin Odegaard had a poor season. He had a very poor season. By his standards, by our standards. And I think that introducing Gyokeres into the fold will allow us to see that Martin Odegaard we saw a couple seasons ago. Because if you think about it, when we had Jesus and he was firing, Odegaard looked good. But then you put, Kai Havertz and Mikel Merino, he's not going to look as good. And I think if we have someone who can take that ball from Martin Odegaard, take that nice silky pass and finish it, we'll see a better and a more confident Martin Odegaard. And I think what it also does, more than Kai Havertz and Merino, is it takes pressure off the outside guys. So Saka was getting double, triple. You can't do that now. You can't do that with Gyokeres, because if you leave him one-on-one, he's going to score on you. And I think the one thing that we're missing on the other side is someone who can upgrade Martinelli, who will take the fullbacks on that side and make the center backs think about the guy who's on that side. And it looks like there could be signings coming in. But as far as Gyokeres and Saka, it takes a lot of pressure off of Saka if Gyokeres is there. Because if I'm the center back on that side, I'm thinking, do I cover Gyokeres? Do I go help Saka? Like, who do I cover? Like, I'm in no man's land. I can't just double Saka because Marino's in midfield. Like, I have to stay with Gyokeres now. And I think that will open up our attack a lot more. I think it'll open up our opportunities a lot more, and I think we'll score a lot more. So I think that Gyokeres is going to bang. I hope he bangs, and I hope that he is one of the missing pieces to finally get over the line. I just want to see us win a cup. I'd love to see us win the FA Cup. I'd love to see us lift a trophy, to be honest. A big trophy. I'd love to see us lift the Premier League. That's what I really want. I want to see those guys like this at the end of the season. That's what I want. Not just the FA Cup, the one with the big ears. I want to see that. I want to see, for the first time ever, the Champions League. And I don't think that Victor Gyokeres is the end-all, be-all. I don't think that he's going to come in and be Thierry Henry, Ian Wright. But I do think he's going to give us a different dynamic. And maybe that's what it takes for us to get over the line. And that's all I'm hoping. Is that little bit of instinct, that little bit of venom, that striker mentality can propel us to getting where we want to be. Because I want to win. I want to see this team win. I want to walk down the street and say Arsenal are champions of something. I want to go into work and talk to the bus drivers and talk to my colleagues and say, we are the champions. That's what I want to see this year. And I think Victor Gyokeres is a huge piece in that. So thanks again for listening to me, you guys. I will see you probably on Sunday for the Transfer Tango. And I hope you have a good rest of your week. Take it easy.